What happens when one of Hollywood's most respected actors walks onto a morning talk show expecting a friendly chat, only to be blindsided by a host with an agenda? In just 40 seconds, a simple question about his latest film turns into the most shocking on-air meltdown in British television history. This is the story of how Lorraine Kelly destroyed her own show with a single comment, and how Liam Neeson reminded everyone watching exactly what integrity looks like. The studio lights are bright that morning. Liam Neeson sits comfortably on the famous orange sofa, relaxed and ready to discuss his new action thriller. He's done hundreds of these interviews before. This should be easy. Lorraine Kelly sits across from him, flanked by her regular panelists, entertainment correspondent Ross King and lifestyle expert Sarah Green. The audience applauds warmly as the segment begins. Lorraine starts with her signature smile. "Liam, lovely to have you here. Now, you've got this new film coming out, another one of your action-packed roles. Tell us about it." Liam leans forward, enthusiastic. "Well, Lorraine, it's a story about a father who goes to extraordinary lengths to protect his family. The character has real depth, real pain. It's not just about the action sequences. There's genuine emotion underneath." Lorraine nods, but there's something in her eyes, something calculating. Right. But Liam, can we be honest here? You've been doing these same types of films for years now. Aren't you just, phoning it in at this point? The studio goes quiet. Ross King shifts uncomfortably in his seat. Liam's expression doesn't change, but you can see him processing what he just heard. "I'm sorry," Liam says carefully. "Well," Lorraine continues, her voice dripping with false sweetness, "you're just playing the same character over and over again, aren't you? Angry man. Someone takes something from him. He punches people. He uses that very particular set of skills. It's become a bit of a joke, hasn't it?" Sarah Green looks down at her notes, clearly uncomfortable. The audience is dead silent. This isn't the usual warm, fuzzy Lorraine Kelly show they're used to. Liam takes a breath. "Lorraine, I choose roles that resonate with me, roles that allow me to explore different aspects of the human experience. Yes, there are action elements, but each character has their own story, their own motivations." "Oh, come on," Lorraine laughs, but it's not a friendly laugh. "Let's not pretend these are Oscar-worthy performances. You're making popcorn films for a paycheck. Nothing wrong with that, but let's call it what it is." Ross King tries to intervene. "Lorraine, I think what Liam is saying is that there's more nuance to these roles than people might think. I actually watched the new film last week and—" "Ross, please." Lorraine cuts him off with a wave of her hand. "I'm having a conversation with our guest." Liam's jaw tightens. "With all due respect, Lorraine, you clearly haven't watched the film. You're making assumptions based on your own preconceived notions." "I don't need to watch it," Lorraine says, leaning back in her chair. "I've seen one. I've seen them all. Tell me, Liam, do you rescue someone in this one? Do you fight the bad guys? Do you win in the end?" "Let me guess. Yes, and yes." The audience gasps. This is getting ugly. Sarah Green looks at the producers off camera, silently pleading for someone to step in. Liam remains calm, but his voice has an edge now. "You invited me here to talk about my work. If you're not interested in having an actual conversation, perhaps we should end this now." "Ooh, touchy," Lorraine says mockingly. "Can't handle a bit of honest criticism? That's the problem with you actors. You all think you're making high art when really you're just entertainment for the masses." "There's criticism, and then there's rudeness," Liam responds. "I came here as a courtesy to talk about a film that my crew and I worked very hard on. A film that has something to say about family, about sacrifice, about what it means to protect the people you love. If you can't see that, if you refuse to even try to see that, then this conversation is pointless." Ross King jumps in again. "I think what makes these films work, though, is Liam's commitment to the emotional core of the story. I mean, the training alone that goes into the physical aspects is incredible, but it's the acting that sells it." "Ross, honestly, stop being such a fanboy," Lorraine snaps. "It's embarrassing." Ross's face flushes red. He looks genuinely hurt. Sarah Green finally speaks up. "Lorraine, maybe we should move on to—" "I'll decide when we move on, Sarah," Lorraine says sharply. She turns back to Liam. "You know what I think? I think you're coasting. You found a formula that works, that makes money, and you're just going to keep doing it until people stop buying tickets. There's no artistry in that. There's no risk." Liam stands up. The sudden movement surprises everyone. "I've been in this industry for over 40 years. I've worked with some of the greatest directors in cinema. I've poured my heart into roles that have meant something to audiences around the world. I don't need to justify my choices to you or anyone else. Sit down, Liam, Lorraine says, but her voice wavers. She's losing control of the situation. No, Liam says firmly. I came here in good faith. I was prepared to have a genuine conversation about my work. But you're not interested in that. You're interested in tearing me down for what? Ratings? To make yourself feel important? The audience is completely silent now. Some people have their hands over their mouths. This is not what anyone expected from a morning chat show. Lorraine tries to regain her composure. I'm just asking the questions everyone wants answered. Someone has to be honest with you. Honest? Liam's voice rises. Slightly. There's nothing honest about this. You've decided what narrative you want before I even sat down. You're not listening to anything I'm saying. You're just waiting for your next opportunity to insult me. Sarah Green nods slightly, clearly agreeing with Liam. Ross King looks like he wants to applaud but doesn't dare. I think you're being overly sensitive, Lorraine says, trying to sound dismissive but looking increasingly uncomfortable. If you can't handle a tough interview asks challenging questions in search of truth, Liam interrupts. This is just an ambush. There's a difference. Well, if you're going to be difficult, Lorraine starts. I'm not being difficult, Liam says, his voice steady and strong. I'm setting a boundary. I'm telling you that the way you're conducting this interview is disrespectful, not just to me, but to your other guests here, and to your audience who tuned in expecting something better than this. The camera catches audience members nodding in agreement. Some are whispering to each other. Lorraine notices this, and her face reddens. I run this show, Lorraine says, her voice getting louder. I decide what questions get asked. If you don't like it, you can leave. That's exactly what I'm going to do, Liam says calmly. Ross King speaks up, his voice urgent. Liam, please, don't go. We'd love to hear more about the film. The stunts, the location shooting, Ross, you're a good man, Liam says, turning to him. Don't let anyone tell you that enthusiasm for your work is something to be ashamed of. He looks at Sarah. Sarah, best of luck to you. Wait, Sarah says quickly. Liam, I actually did see the film at the preview screening. I thought the scene where your character has to choose between revenge and protecting his daughter was incredibly powerful, really moving. Liam smiles at her, a genuine smile. Thank you. That scene took 15 takes to get right. We wanted to make sure the emotion was real, that the audience could feel the weight of that choice. That's exactly what I mean, Sarah continues, emboldened. There's real craft there, real thought. Lorraine's face is now bright red. Sarah, we're in the middle of something here. No, Lorraine, Sarah says, her voice steady. We're in the middle of you being unnecessarily cruel to a guest who came here in good faith, and I think someone needs to say it. The audience applauds. Lorraine looks shocked. This is Mutiny on live television. Excuse me? Lorraine's voice is shrill now. How dare you? How dare I? Sarah echoes. How dare you treat a respected actor like this? What's gotten into you? Liam holds up a hand. Sarah, I appreciate you standing up for me, but I don't want you to get in trouble on my account. He looks directly at Lorraine. You know what the real shame is? You have a platform. You have the opportunity to have meaningful conversations with interesting people, but instead, you're using it to score cheap points and make people feel small. That's not entertainment. That's just sad. Get out, Lorraine says, her voice shaking. Get out of my studio. I'm already leaving, Liam says. He begins removing his microphone. But I want everyone watching to know that I tried. I came here with respect. I answered your questions honestly, and in return, I was mocked and belittled. Ross King stands up too. Lorraine, I think we need to take a break. We need to. Sit down, Ross, Lorraine commands. No, Ross says quietly, but firmly. I don't think I will. The studio erupts. Audience members are gasping. Some are standing. Producers are running onto the set. This has gone completely off the rails. Liam finishes removing his microphone and places it carefully on the coffee table. I wish you all the best, he says to the audience. Thank you for your kindness. Then he walks off the set, his head held high, his dignity intact. The camera stays on Lorraine's face. She looks furious, embarrassed, and completely caught off guard. Sarah Green has her arms crossed, staring at Lorraine with an expression that clearly says, I told you so. Ross King is shaking his head. Well, Lorraine tries to laugh it off. Some people just can't handle honest criticism. That wasn't criticism, Sarah says flatly. That was an attack. I agree, Ross adds. That was completely out of line. Lorraine looks at both of them, her mouth opening and closing like a fish. We're going to take a commercial break, she finally manages to say. But before they can cut away, the audience starts chanting, Liam, Liam, Liam. The sound grows louder and louder. Lorraine sits frozen, unable to speak, unable to move. The producers are frantically signaling to cut to commercial. The camera finally switches away, but not before catching one final shot of Lorraine Kelly looking absolutely mortified. Backstage, Liam Neeson is walking toward the exit. A production assistant runs up to him. Mr. Neeson, I'm so sorry about that. That's not how we normally do things here. Liam puts a hand on the young man's shoulder. It's not your fault. You're just doing your job. He continues walking, past crew members who are looking at him with admiration and sympathy. A makeup artist stops him. Mr. Neeson, I just want you to know that we all think you handled that beautifully. She was completely out of order. Thank you, Liam says kindly. Sometimes you have to stand up for yourself. Life's too short to let people treat you poorly. Back on set, Lorraine is having a heated conversation with her producer during the commercial break. The microphones are off, but you can see her gesturing wildly, pointing at the door Liam walked through, her face still red with anger and embarrassment. Sarah Green leans over to Ross King. I've never seen her like this, she whispers. What was she thinking? I have no idea, Ross whispers back. But I think we just witnessed career suicide. The producer's trying to calm Lorraine down, but she's not having it. He disrespected me, Lorraine is saying, loud enough for the audience to hear. He walked off my show. An audience member shouts, You drove him off. Other audience members murmur in agreement. Lorraine whips around to face them. I beg your pardon? You were rude to him, the audience member continues bravely. He was perfectly polite, and you kept attacking him. Yeah, another audience member adds. That was really uncomfortable to watch. Lorraine looks like she's about to explode. The producer quickly steps in. Okay, everyone, let's just calm down. We're going to come back from commercial in 30 seconds. Sarah Green takes a deep breath. Lorraine, I really think you should apologize when we come back on air. Apologize? Lorraine's voice is incredulous. For what? For being completely unprofessional, Sarah says bluntly. Ross King nods in. Agreement. Sarah's right. That was bad, Lorraine. Really bad. I don't need this from either of you. Lorraine snaps. If you don't like how I run my show, you're welcome to leave too. Sarah and Ross exchange glances. There's a long pause. You know what? Sarah says slowly. I think I will. She stands up, removes her microphone, and walks off the set. The audience applauses even louder now. Ross hesitates for just a moment, then follows Sarah. The applause becomes deafening. Lorraine is left sitting alone on her own set, surrounded by empty seats, facing an audience that clearly sides against her. The producer looks panicked. They're about to come back from commercial, and the host has no guests. 10 seconds, a crew member calls out. Lorraine frantically tries to compose herself. She smooths down her hair, forces a smile onto her face, but her hands are shaking. 5 seconds. The smile doesn't reach her eyes. She looks terrified. And we're back. The camera focuses on Lorraine. She opens her mouth to speak, but nothing comes out. The silence stretches on and on. The audience is completely quiet now, watching to see what she'll do. Finally, Lorraine manages to speak. Well, that was certainly unexpected. Some audience members laugh, but it's not friendly laughter. It's the kind of laugh you give when someone makes a fool of themselves. It seems that some people can't handle a robust discussion. Lorraine continues, trying to sound light and breezy, but failing miserably. You attacked him, someone from the audience shouts. I did not attack anyone, Lorraine says defensively. I asked legitimate questions about his career choices. No, you insulted him, another voice calls out. There's a difference. Lorraine's composure is crumbling. I've been doing this show for years. I know how to conduct an interview. Then why did 3 people just walk off your set? Someone asks. Lorraine has no answer for that. She looks to the producer for help, but he just shrugs helplessly. This is live television. There's nowhere to hide. I think, Lorraine says, her voice barely steady, that we're going to end today's show early. Clearly, we're having some technical difficulties. The only difficulty is you, an audience member shouts, and a significant portion of the audience applauds. Lorraine stands up abruptly. "The show is over," she announces, and walks off her own set, leaving the camera focused on an empty orange sofa in a studio full of audience members who are now talking excitedly among themselves about what they just witnessed. Meanwhile, Liam Neeson has reached his car in the parking lot. His driver opens the door for him. "That was quick, Mr. Neeson," the driver says. "Everything all right?" Liam settles into the back seat. "Yes, actually, everything's fine." "Where to now, sir?" "The hotel," Liam says. "I think I've done enough publicity for one day." As the car pulls away, Liam looks out the window at the studio building growing smaller in the distance. He doesn't look angry or upset. He looks peaceful, like a man who knows he did the right thing, who stood up for himself with grace and dignity. Inside the studio, chaos reigns. Producers are scrambling, trying to figure out what to do next. Audience members are being ushered out, many of them still talking excitedly about what they saw. Some are already pulling out their phones, no doubt ready to share this incredible moment with the world. Sarah Green and Ross King are in the green room, gathering their things. They're both still processing what just happened. "Did we really just quit on live television?" Ross asks, sounding dazed. "I think we did," Sarah says, and she's smiling. "You know what? I feel good about it. Really good." "Me too," Ross admits. "That needed to happen. Someone needed to stand up to her." "Liam Neeson is a class act," Sarah says. "The way he handled that, never losing his cool, never stooping to her, that's how you do it." "That's exactly how you do it. If you would have advised star to this," Ross agrees. Back on the empty set, crew members are already starting to break down the equipment. One of them picks up the microphone that Liam left on the coffee table. "Can you believe that just happened?" she asks her colleague. "I've been working in television for 20 years, he replies, "and I've never seen anything like that. That actor, he was completely right. She was out of line. Way out of line." The first crew member agrees. "I felt so uncomfortable watching it." "I can't imagine how he felt." "He handled it perfectly, though," the colleague says. "Didn't raise his voice, didn't get nasty, just stated his boundaries and left. That takes real strength." In her dressing room, Lorraine Kelly sits alone, staring at herself in the mirror. Her makeup is smudged now. Her hair is a mess. She looks exhausted. The adrenaline is wearing off and reality is setting in. There's a knock on the door. "Lorraine?" "It's her producer. We need to talk." "Go away," Lorraine says quietly. "Lorraine, please. We need to discuss what happens next." "I said go away." The producer hesitates, then leaves. Lorraine continues staring at her reflection. For the first time since it all started, she's alone with her thoughts. And those thoughts are clearly not pleasant ones. In the parking lot, more people are arriving, crew members for the next show. They're all talking about what happened. Word spreads fast in television. "Did you hear about the Liam Neeson thing?" "I heard he walked off mid-interview." "No, he was driven off. Lorraine Kelly went after him for no reason." "I heard 2 of the other panelists quit too. This is going to be everywhere by tonight." Inside his car, Liam Neeson has his phone in his hand. It's already ringing. His agent. He answers. "Liam, what happened?" "I walked out of an interview," Liam says calmly. "I know. I'm already getting calls. Are you okay?" "I'm fine." "Better than fine, actually." "Do you want to tell me what happened?" "The host decided to use the interview as an opportunity to mock my work and insult me. I tried to remain professional. When it became clear that she wasn't interested in an actual conversation, I left." "Good for you," his agent says firmly. "Seriously, good for you. No one should have to sit there and take that." "That's what I thought," Liam agrees. "This is going to blow up, you know. It'll be all over the news." "I know. But I'm at peace with it. I did the right thing." "You absolutely did. I'll handle the press inquiries. You just relax. Thank you." Liam hangs up and looks out the window again. The London streets are busy with afternoon traffic. Life goes on. The world keeps turning. And somewhere in this city, people are already talking about what happened, already choosing sides, already forming opinions. But Liam Neeson isn't worried about any of that. He knows who he is. He knows what he stands for. And he knows that sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is simply walk away. Back at the studio, the audience has been cleared out. The set is empty. The lights are dimmed. In just a few hours, this space was the site of one of the most dramatic moments in talk show history. Now it's just a quiet room with an empty sofa and the ghosts of words that can never be taken back. In different parts of the city, Sarah Green and Ross King are both on their phones, being contacted by other shows, other producers. They're already being offered opportunities. Standing up for what's right, it turns out, doesn't go unnoticed. And in her dressing room, Lorraine Kelly finally stands up. She looks at herself one more time in the mirror. Her eyes are red. Whether from anger or tears or both, it's hard to say. She picks up her bag, turns off the light, and walks out. The door closes behind her with a soft click. The studio is empty now, silent. But what happened here today will echo for a long time to come, because sometimes one moment, one exchange, one decision to stand up and walk away can change everything. Liam Neeson showed everyone watching what dignity looks like, what self-respect looks like, what it means to know your worth and refuse to let anyone diminish it. He didn't need to shout. He didn't need to fight. He just needed to stand up, speak his truth, and leave. And that, more than anything else that happened in that studio, is what people will remember. Not the insults, not the anger, but the quiet strength of a man who knew when enough was enough and had the courage to act on it.